Hi, I'm Jane Cheeks. On this episode of City Careers, Learn, Work, and Grow, we're exploring Houston communities with the help of the Department of Neighborhoods. To give us a glimpse of what's happening within Houston's diverse districts, we have Takasha Francis, Director of the City of Houston's Department of Neighborhoods. That's what's next on City Careers. Stay tuned. Takasha, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about your role.
Wow, my role is awesome because I have the awesome privilege of being able to oversee 5 divisions of nearly 170 of the most professional and dedicated individuals in the city of Houston. And that would be the Department of Neighborhoods. Those divisions that we have are broken up between the code enforcement section, which is the most commonly recognized of the department. It is the Inspections and Public Service Division, which goes out and does code enforcement in neighborhoods to make sure that we keep our neighborhoods clean, looking at dangerous buildings, making sure that we manage weeded lots, making sure that we manage nuisance on properties. I also oversee another division by the name of the Mayor's Citizens Assistance Office, and the Citizens Assistance Office provides assistance to citizens of Houston and connecting them with city services. So if there's an issue with your light bill, if you need information on when your trash pickup is, whatever citizens need, our office is there. And we also have liaisons in that office that are placed in our multi-service centers in communities so that people don't have to come downtown to get the information they need. They can actually go to their multi-service centers and get what they need to connect them with city services. We also have within that the Mayor's Office of People with Disabilities, which is the advocacy and empowerment arm to empower people with disabilities here in the city of Houston to also connect them with city services and the services that they need to also learn, work, and grow. We also now have the newly formed Office of New Americans and Refugee Affairs, which oversees more personalized and social human services for new visitors here into our country and new citizens who are looking to become American citizens. So not only do we offer naturalization opportunities, but we also help people who are here in our city from other countries get immersed into our culture because we are the most diverse city in this country. And we also have the Mayor's Anti-Gang Department, which is our Youth and Family Services arm. It houses the Mayor's Youth Council. It also houses our Volunteer Initiatives program, which is another way that we get Houstonians connected to volunteer activities. So whether it's an organization that needs volunteerism or if you yourself are looking for an opportunity to give back, the Department of Neighborhoods helps connect you to make sure that you can volunteer and give of yourself. And all of these divisions together encompass the quality of life for every Houstonian because the Department of Neighborhoods touches every part of Houston's life.
Oh, I love that. I love that. You're quite busy. So tell me what
Yes.
brings you into public service.
Well, actually, when the mayor spoke to me about this, I was already very committed to public service. I was very committed through my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta, with our social action initiatives, which involved a lot of working in the community on civic engagement through voting and making sure that we educated communities on local elections more particularly. So as an attorney also for the last 12 years, even though it was my profession, I worked in family law a lot, so I was able to not only be attorney but counselor and social worker and those other areas that we typically have to kind of bleed over into for our clients. And so this opportunity was a challenge because it was a little different, but I saw it as a way to serve differently. And it definitely puts me into an entire different paradigm that I'm excited about. And this is the personal touch that I've become accustomed to over my years of work. I get to actually go into communities, talk to people, meet people, see what their issues are, and more importantly, I have a seat at the table making decisions that affect them directly. And I like being able to do that where I don't have to be a part of the problem. I am a part of that solution for somebody. So that excites me the most.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So I tell you what, we're here because we're talking about learning and development. So
Yes.
tell me what your department is doing about learning and development.
Well, one of the first things coming in, of course, is just getting acclimating and learning about what all of the divisions do and looking at the needs of the managers and looking at the needs of the employees. I believe in being an eternal student because we only stop learning when we die, and only a fool knows everything. So we want to make sure that we're always our very best. And one of the things that I heard from our staff over and over again is that they wanted to be able to continue those learning opportunities to become better. And I was excited to know that at the Leland Center, through the Human Resources Department, we already have in-house opportunities that we can take advantage of. So I've had the opportunity to participate in some of the learning activities, and for 2017, our management staff, as well as some of our other critical staff and admin staff, will be taking advantage of many of those classes so that we can always have the tools we need to become better. And that's what I want us to focus on. So yes.
Wow, Takasha, it's really amazing that you mentioned that, because I had the opportunity to meet with Mayor Sylvester Turner and ask him about learning and development. We're going to look at what he had to say. Thank you, Mayor, for being here on City Careers.
You're welcome. I've always wanted to be on your show.
Well, thank you. Well, you know, City Careers has been focusing on careers here at the City of Houston for managers and supervisors and our employees.
Yeah.
So what we'd like to know from you is, what is your thoughts on the culture of learning and development here at the city?
Well, you always have to be eager to learn. I don't care if you may have been with the city or with any organization for 5 years, 15 years, or 30 years. There's always something to learn. Things are constantly changing. You know, we live in a very organic culture. Very few things remain the same. And so if you just try to do your job based on the way you used to do it yesterday, then you're not going to be as effective, as impactful. So, you know, I'm constantly having to grow, having to learn, recognize that things are different than when I started. And in order to move, let's say, the city, the organization forward, you constantly have to be sharpening your skills, developing strategies to deal with changing needs.
Oh, thank you so much, Mayor.
And I want to encourage people, you know, oftentimes people are resistant. You know, they say, you know, this is the way I used to do it. Well, that is a true statement. That's the way you used to do it. But now, how are we doing it now? And what is it going to take to move the organization forward? And I think in order to be the leader of your department, in order to be the leader of your section, you have to be eager to develop your skills, sharpen your skills, and recognize what are the best practices, you know, and how can I move my organization forward? And sometimes it's not just the skills in terms of that computer, you know. Sometimes it's just on how do I manage better? How do I encourage the best from the people that are following me? And then there are some things that don't change. Respect and appreciation for the people who are working for you. Now those type of values don't change. Those things never go out of style. But in terms of the tools that we're having to rely on, there's a lot of things that are coming up, the innovations, things that are better tools that are coming online. Certainly we have to utilize that, okay? But just common respect, decency, gratitude, a good disposition, good attitude, those things, those are the constants. And those are the things that take you to the next level.
Oh, Mayor, thank you so much for those words.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you, Jane.
Thank you. Takasha, as you can see, the mayor is definitely invested in the culture of learning here at the City of Houston. Mm-hmm. I want to thank you for taking out the time to come to our show and give us a taste of what's going on in the Department of Neighborhoods.
Thank you so much for giving me that opportunity. I'm always excited to speak about our department.
Hopefully you receive some valuable information to help you strengthen your local community and provide a safe place for your family to learn and grow in their neighborhoods. Coming up next on City Careers, we'll take a closer look at the Department of Neighborhoods' innovative projects and programs and hear from employees responsible for ensuring their success. Stay tuned. You're watching City Careers. Welcome back. Have you ever considered how quality of life applies to our communities? Well, that's exactly what we're addressing today with key members of the Department of Neighborhoods. The Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities advocates for the rights and needs of citizens with disabilities, while the Inspection and Public Services Division addresses issues such as overgrown lots and illegal dumping. Let's go to my co-host Jamaica, who talked to employees about these initiatives and their commitment to public service.
Thanks, Jane. I'm currently here with Mr. Landon Taylor, who is serving as the interim manager here over at the Mayor's Department for People with Disabilities. Landon, how are you today?
I'm well, how are you?
Doing awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about your role here in this department, this division, as well as what maybe drew you to a career in public service?
Sure. So right now I'm currently having a dual role. Unfortunately, we lost one of our division managers here in the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. So I stepped in for a little while, but I've had great assistance with Mr. Angel Ponce. He's done a great job with that. As far as my role overall, I oversee the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities as well as Citizens Assistance. I also assist in many of our budget actions and budget items and assist in new programs and special projects.
What drew you to a career in public service?
I think one of the things that drew me in was when my father was sick, he needed health care, a little bit better health care, and there were some things that we were unable to do because of that. So I went away from my job in retail and started from the bottom as an intern and worked my way up.
In what ways do you feel your division contributes to Houston's quality of life?
Well, I think we are all charged with helping the least and the last. One of the things we try to do in the Department of Neighborhoods is lead with love. So I get a satisfaction of working with people every day, some who have no lights, some who can't afford to even live anywhere. So we find ways, and that always brings gratification.
That's amazing. And speaking of Angel, I had the opportunity to speak with Angel as well, who Landon, who just mentioned, is his right-hand man here at the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. Here's what he had to say. Angel, would you mind telling me a little bit about your role here at the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities?
Definitely. I am the lead liaison between the mayor, city council, private, and public entities here in the city of Houston regarding people with disabilities. Also going out and making sure that the city is more accessible for people with disabilities and educating the public on disability etiquette.
So what would a typical day look like for you?
A typical day would look like coming into the office, making sure that we answer everybody's phone calls, answer all the voicemails, going out into the city and making sure that sidewalks are accessible for people with disabilities, going to a meeting, addressing issues that are going on within the city regarding people with disabilities.
So what drew you to a career in public service, and what makes you so passionate about it?
As you can see, I am a person with a disability, and I use a wheelchair for mobility purposes. And I felt like, growing up here in the city of Houston, I was very limited to resources. And so that pushes me into educating the public and making sure that the city of Houston knows that we're here to provide those services to them.
Thank you, Angel, for your time today.
You're welcome.
And now we get to head over to the Inspections and Public Service Division, where I got to ride along with Mr. Reggie Harris. I am currently in the car with Mr. Reggie Harris, who is the Deputy Assistant Director for the Department of Inspections and Public Service. He has been so gracious enough to allow me to ride along with him as we go check out a inspection site that he actually has to inspect for the city. But in the meantime, I would love to hear more about your role here at the City of Houston.
Well, my role here at the City of Houston is over inspections and public service for the Department of Neighborhoods, which is that we cover the whole City of Houston. We have 70 plus inspectors who go out and inspect within the communities. Part of the responsibilities that we're responsible for is junk motor vehicles, dangerous buildings, high weeds, mostly nuisance violations within communities.
Reggie, can you explain what a day on the job for you looks like? Like what is a typical day for you?
Well, my role as the Deputy Assistant Director for Inspections and Public Service is really offering, a customer service to the constituents within the communities. A typical day could be coming in and have a number of calls from constituents in the communities that just want feedback on violations that they currently called in, wanting updates, whether it's a dangerous building within their community, whether it's a high weed violation that's been reported within their community, or a junk motor vehicle that was reported within their community. Just want feedback on where we are within that inspection process of getting that violation taken care of.
So me and Reggie are here currently at an inspection he had to do earlier today. Reggie, can you explain to our viewers what would constitute this for needing an inspection?
Yeah, this is one of our inspections here, or addresses that was called in through 311, where one of our inspectors came out and actually did the inspection. The call that came in was due to high weeds. What was addressed here, within the city of Houston, any grass that it's over 9 inches is considered a violation within the city of Houston. Inspector came out, inspected the property, documented the violation. Part of our process is we have two means of notification. One being the yellow placard, as you see, that has been placed in the ground, and also we'll mail out a notification to the property owner.
So what will be the next steps for the property owner? How would they get this cleared up?
Okay, so after the property owner has been notified, they'll be notified, giving them time to clean the property up, bring the property back into compliance, which will generate a check back for us. As you can see on our placards, we not only address the date that the violation has been marked, we also let them know, give them a correction by date, what allows them to know that our inspector will be coming back at that time to see has the property been taken care of. If the property hadn't been taken care of, then what we'll do is it could generate a citation for lack of compliance, which means that the violation could be anywhere from $50 to $2,000.
Oh, wow.
Per day, per violation, that could be. What we try to do, we really try to shoot for having owner compliance. But again, what we do with the Department of Neighborhoods is we have two means of compliance. Owner compliance is what our main driven. We try to educate the community on getting owner compliance. But at the end of the day, at times we have to do what we call an abatement action, which means is that we have to come out in action where the city comes in and have to do the work, have to literally do the action on the property to mow the property or clean these properties up. At the end of the day, we calculate the fees that were generated during the process, and then there's liens placed on the property.
Reggie, I want to thank you for your time today. It's been a pleasure riding along with you.
It's been a pleasure.
Back to you in the studio, Jane.
Thanks, Jamaica. Later we'll cover some interesting facts I bet you didn't know. And we'll hear firsthand from a few more members of the Department of Neighborhoods and how their divisions are improving our great city.
I think that that's been the most important thing that I've learned in terms of my career is how to create and develop and nurture those partnerships to get to the same goal that we all have.
Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching City Careers. You're going to meet some employees who are committed to improving our community in Houston city streets. Let's go to my co-host and find out more about the divisions they serve.
Patricia, would you mind telling me a little bit about your role in the Mayor's Office of Anti-Gang?
Sure. So I'm the director of the Mayor's Anti-Gang Office. We run delinquency prevention and intervention programs and services for young people who are gang involved or high risk violent offenders and such.
What does a typical day look like for you in your role?
For me, as an administrator, I am responsible for the overall operation and administration of the office. So I have separate teams, some that work on the individual case management and intervention programs, and then we also run prevention programs. We have a mentoring program, a summer day camp. I'm also an advisor for the Mayor's Youth Council. So a typical day for me would be just checking in on the staff, meetings, lots of meetings with different program partners, talking with schools, our school partners, law enforcement and criminal justice partners, just to kind of make sure that the programs and services are operating and functioning and that everybody's where they're supposed to be and that we're providing the services that we're being asked to.
What drew you to a career in public service?
Such a great question, I love that. So I was always interested in government. And when I was in college, I actually thought that I would political science my degree is in political science, and I always thought that I would go into policy research. And then I got an internship with the city, actually, for a city council member, and that sparked more of my interest into actually going into public service and working in local government, which I always felt I would go to Austin to do the research and so on. Once I started working for the city of Houston, and actually the job in the anti-gang office opened up, I started to realize that I liked working with young people and communities more so than actually reading and doing the policy that I was headed for. So I think the job just kind of found me. I've been with the city 20 years now in this same field, and I just feel really fortunate that I think this job found me, and I really love it.
How do you feel your current role in the mayor's anti-gang office has helped to develop your career?
Oh, that's a good question too. So one of the things is that it's allowed me to meet a lot of different people in different disciplines. So my job, what we're focused on is juvenile delinquency prevention and intervention, but what I've learned about that is that it takes many different types of disciplines to address that issue. So you cannot, like law enforcement, for example, can't arrest the problem away. It really takes communities, faith-based organizations, nonprofits, government, schools, education, along with police and criminal justice to resolve and try to work on the problem together. So I think that that's been the most important thing that I've learned in terms of my career is how to create and develop and nurture those partnerships to get to the same goal that we all have.
Nice. So can you explain a little bit on how your division actually helps to develop their employees?
Yes, we do a lot of training. So since we're doing individualized case management to help some of these young people through these difficult problems, my counselors need to have ongoing training. In fact, before I came for this interview, we were doing some staff training. So what we try to do is get them to different conferences and to network so that they can keep up with different trends and things that are going on in terms of case management or parenting, substance abuse treatment, because the backgrounds of what it is that they're focusing on, those things change quite a bit, and so training is very, very important for staff.
And one last question, are there any particular initiatives that the employees of City Houston should be aware of that goes on over at the Mayor's Anti-Gang Office Division?
Yes, what we like to do is partner with other departments. So right now we're doing a project with the Parks Department. We are partnering with the Health Department. So we each have programs that have a similar goal. We're focusing on them just a little bit differently, but we're trying to get to the same goal. So I think some of those initiatives would be summer enrichment programs, things that we're trying to do with parks, maybe with the library department because they have summer learning as well. So there's a lot of different opportunities for departments to partner with what it is in my division that we're trying to do to work with young people and communities.
Thank you, Patricia, for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Back to you, Jane.
Wow, Jamaica. It's interesting to see the unique aspects of each division, and it's great to see them making a real difference. Before we close the show, we always like to end with a few interesting facts you may not know. Did you know Houston has a large and vibrant Asian community with the second largest Indo-Chinese population in the United States behind Los Angeles? I bet you didn't know the historic neighborhood of Acres Home is home to Houston's own Mayor Sylvester Turner, award-winning actress Loretta Devine, and rappers Chamillionaire, Slim Thug, and Paul Wall. Today we learned about the Department of Neighborhoods and some unique aspects of its divisions. Thank you for watching City Careers Learn, Work, and Grow. If you're interested in positions with the City of Houston or becoming a volunteer, please visit houstontx.gov. I'm Jane Cheeks. See you next time.